So every single surface in my garage has Bondo powder on it. It's even on the top of my can of worms. It's everywhere. But that's alright. We're making progress. Well worth it. I'm happy to deal with the Bondo dust. So let's do a weekly startup. We can talk about the tools sitting behind me. Let's do it. Alright guys, when we last handed off all this Bondo dust, I had mentioned that one of the reasons I thought this fender would be a good first project was because of the dings right here along this edge. Fixing these would give me a good opportunity to get some practice in with hammers and dollies. Now, I did not have a set of hammers and dollies, but now I do, thanks to my buddy, John Everly. So, John, thank you, you're the man. He is lending me his set of hammers and dollies from Eastwood, and it seems like a really nice set. And I had a very old set of hammers and dollies growing up that I messed around with a little, but I fully intend on getting pretty darn good with these. So that's something we have coming down the pipeline. Now my dad also dug out some of his very old body working books. And I love looking through books like these because basically a lot of things that are in books you cannot find on the internet because they are copyrighted. So anytime I get a chance to look at a book like this, I definitely do not pass it up because it's not like I can just go to Google and find a lot of this stuff. So I'll be looking at those as well. The last thing, and this is more in line with the weekly startup that we're going to be doing, this is the heat riser tube that runs from my exhaust manifold to my carburetor. I had mentioned before that I had the heat riser tube off of my carburetor, and I realized if this thread, I took it off because of what I thought was corrosion. We can actually, if I can prop you up to see this, I thought it was pretty badly corroded, but it's actually not that bad. That'll be okay. That'll get heat from, that'll be just fine to at least get some heat up to the carburetor. I should probably blow the rust out of it, but if I can make sure this is clean, I might put this back on for the weekly startup and see if it helps with the choke. But definitely need to blow some air down through there and make sure that that's cleaned out. Alright, the heat riser tube is installed, but it is snapped off here. The actual end of the heat riser tube is stuck in the exhaust manifold, and there's a break, but I have it lined up as best I can. So it's still going to get a little bit more warm air in, I would assume, into the choke than what it has been. So with all that being said, let's see how this thing sounds when it starts up. Isn't that muffler glorious? Yeah, that's not impacting the choke very much. I can open up the choke manually, but the spring inside here is just not warm enough to work properly. And I haven't really messed with the setting on the choke yet either. It's still on where they tell you to place it whenever you do the online bench adjustments. So, I don't know. I'm gonna order a new heat riser tube though. Okay, so real quick guys, I'm gonna do a cool car segment this episode because I've gotten so many, I'm trying to catch up on them. So although we don't normally do cool car segments on Weekly Startup, we're about to. So let's check out this Weekly Startups first. Cool car. This is Matt's 64XM Falcon, and he's writing to us from Brisbane, Australia. Matt writes, I'm keen on following your series because my 64 Falcon also has a 200 inline 6. A lot of the components are the same as mine. In Australia, we also had the 250 straight 6, which was a great motor as well. Now I'll admit, since I've taken on the 65 Mustang, I've already looked at Falcons as possible next projects after this, because obviously the 65 Mustang was basically a glorified Falcon. But there's something about those early Falcons that just look really cool, and I think that they could be fun cars to work on. And I basically, probably going forward, would like to stick to early Fords. But anyway, Matt, thank you for tuning in all the way from Brisbane, Australia. Love the Falcon. It's a very cool car. Yeah, I said the next several episodes are going to be quick. This is another quick one. February is an incredibly busy month for me, but we're getting there and we're making progress. So I appreciate everybody that's watching. Thank you guys. This is awesome. It's been a lot of fun, and we're just gonna keep grinding away. And I think March is gonna be a really good month. So with all that being said, I will have an episode up Friday where we're grinding off more Bondo. And yeah, we'll just continue on from there. So until I see you guys Friday, take care.